Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Karibuni tena kwa live session yetu. Kama kawaida yetu, tutafanya section 2, but now I want to clear up misunderstanding. So before we start the video, don't forget to subscribe. Na namba yangu ya simu ni hii kama kawaida yangu. Sawa? Okay. So don't forget to subscribe. Nadhani labda utasikia kengele au utasikia, it depends kama mimi ni vivo ama. Okay, in the figure below, hii swali kulikuwa na correction, nimekosea mahali, so I did something. Okay, it was just a minor mistake which I'm rectifying it right now, and then we can proceed to section 2. Question 16 says in the figure below, AB is parallel to PQ, PB and AQ meet at X, given that PQ equal to 15, AB equal to 2.5 and AQ equal to 10.5 centimeter. Find AX also. Okay, kama hii kawaida niliwachorea hiyo triangle. So kaambia hii AX, AB, kuna QX, kuna I think QX, and there's P somewhere. So I then said QP over AB equal to AX over QX. So pale ambapo nimekosea, it was very trivial. Okay, so QP over AB is equal to QX over AX. So that was the mistake. So it should be QX over AX kwa sababu wachukua kubwa over ndogo. So QX ni kubwa, AX ni ndogo. So QP ni 15 divided by AB, which is 2.5, is equal to QX, which is 10.5 minus Y over AX, which is Y. So you do the same thing. So cross multiply. So 15 times Y is 15Y. And 2.5 times 2.5 times 10.5 minus Y. If you open it up, so it's only 15Y equal to 2.5 times 10.5. 2.5 times 10.5. You can take a calculator just to make sure. Okay, 2.5 times 10.5 need 26.25. Is it correct? Yeah, I hope it's correct. So 26.25 minus 2.5y. Okay, so collect the like terms, so it becomes 15y plus 2.5 itakuwa, okay, add hizi mbili itakuwa 17.5. So 17.5y equal to 26.25. So divide by 17.5, divide by 17.5, y itakuwa ngapi? Divide by 17.5 itakuwa y 1.5 centimeter, and that is your answer. So AX hapa ni 1.5 centimeter. So that was the correction which I had to rectify on that. Okay, so let's go to the other. Question 18. Question 18 says, the diagram below, which is not drawn to scale, shows an isosceles triangle XYZ in which XY equal to XZ will stop the coordinates of X and Y are 5, 6 and 0, -4 respectively. Sawa, hiyo ndo triangle. Yeah. So basically you're seeing the triangle, you're seeing there's D and there's Z somewhere. Ukaambiwa this side is equal to this side. Sorry for that. So this side is equal to this side. XZ is equal to XY. So the XD is a perpendicular bisector. So the D is a midpoint. Is the midpoint for YZ. So okay. So just to rescue myself, let me write it X 5, 6 and Y being 0, -4 because I'll be using it. Okay, yeah, so it's correct. So find, given that the equation of line xy is y equal to 3/4 x minus 4, and that the perpendicular bisector of yz dropped from x to be to yz at d. So I've shown you the perpendicular bisector itself. So find Roman 1 and the equation of xd. So the equation of xd. So basically xd, which is this, okay, is usually a perpendicular bisector to yz or yd, whichever, or to yz, okay. So and the equation for yz has been given. So let's find the gradient for xd. So our equation for yz is given by y equal to 3/4 of x minus 4. So our gradient, which is m1, is 3/4 x, 3/4, yeah. And for perpendicular lines, you usually know that m1 times m2 is equal to -1. So if our m1 is 3 over 4, our m2 for the equation of xd is the reciprocal of 3 over 4, which is 4 over 3, and you change the sign, wabadilisha sign. Ikiwa ile m1 ni positive, m2 yako hapa itakuwa ni -4 over 3. Si ni rahisi, watu wengi wadhani ni ngumu. Okay, xd yetu tutatafuta vipi? So gradient tayari uko nao, point uko nao ambao ni hiyo x, which is 5,6. Okay, so how do you find the equation? So assume there's another point. So hii ni x, sio kaona na multiply ni x. So we take -4 over 3 is equivalent to change in y over change in x, which is y minus 6 over x minus 5. So cross multiply. So basically ile -4. Let me just cross multiply. So ile 3 uta multiply na y minus 6 equal to the -4 uta multiply na x minus 5. So this times this and this times this. So open up, so itakuwa 3 times y, 3y, 3 times -6 ni -18 equal to -4 times x, -4x, 34 times -5, positive 20. So 18, -18, peleka the other side, so it becomes plus 18. So 3y equal to -4x plus 20 plus 18, which is plus 38. So therefore divide by 3, and our final answer would be y equal to -4 over 3x plus 38 over 3. So and that is our equation of line xd. So twende kwa swali lingine. The coordinate of d. The coordinate of what? Of d. So the coordinates of d, you get it when you find the simultaneous equation for xd and yd. And yd is just the same equation as yz. Ile to yz. So isije kukoroga. Hiyo yd to in equation, it has the same equation as yz. So and xd and yd meet at d. So your xd and yd meet at d. So if you do a simultaneous equation for both of them, automatically you get d. So xd yetu tayari tunajua equation yetu, which is y equal to -4 over 3x, okay, plus 38 over 3. So, and you also know our equation for yd, and the equation for yd was given kutoka kitambo, which is the same as yz, which is just y equal to 3/4 x or 3 over x minus 4. Since zote ni y, hii ni y equal to hii na y, so you just equate the resultant answers for y. So you take -4 over 3x plus 38 over 3 is equivalent to 3/4 x minus 4. Sawa. So collect the like terms. Sitakuwa sawa. So just exchange the numbers here. So hii negative 4 peleka the other side. Okay. And negative 4 over 3x peleka the other side. So basically hapo utazana positive 4 plus 38 over 3 is equal to positive 4 over 3x plus 3 over 4x. So 3 over 4x sign yake bado ni positive, so usije ukabadilisha masign hapa na ukapata answer wrong. So 4 over 3 plus 3 over 4 is just basically 25 over 12x. So hapa ni 25 over 12x equal to 4 plus 38 over 3 is 50 over 3. So find x times 12 over 25 times 12 over 25. So our x basically will be how much? So 12 over 25 times 50. 12 over 25 times 50. So 12 divided by 25 times 50 divided by 3, which is just 8. So x yetu ni 8, lakini y yetu ni ngapi? So jiuliza y yetu ni ngapi? So where there's x, so tatumia hii equation ya xd. So pale ambapo kuna x tutabadilisha, tutaweka nini? Tutaweka y yetu. Pale ambapo kuna x tutaweka x yetu yenyewe, so times 8 ndo tupate y. So just take your calculator, your y will be equivalent to how much? So take minus 4 over 3, okay, plus 38 over 3. Sorry, minus 4 over 3 times 8 plus 48 over 3, and it gives you 16 over 3. Am I tripping? It shouldn't give you 16 over 3. 48 minus 32 using this. I'm not tripping. So let me just confirm from the answers. Whatever I'm seeing is quite correct, but now I'm getting decimals. Why am I getting decimals? Why? Oh, t cot x. sometimes I might tripling. Okay, the answer here gives you y equal to 2. So your coordinates should be 8, okay, 8, comma 2. So that's the coordinate for D. Okay, so that's your answer for D. So let's continue with the next question. The next question says what? Take Roman 3, the coordinates of Z. So 2, 2, 2. So those are 6 marks that you need to have at hand. So the coordinates of Z, the coordinates of Z, coordinates of Z. So Z ukiona hapa, hii hapa. So midpoint wapata vipi? Usually ndo wachukua coordinate ya Z wa add kwa coordinate ya Y. So yani wachukua x plus x1 plus x2 divided by 2 na y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So x1 yako hapa lazima ujue ni nini na y yako x1 ni gani, x2 ni gani, y1 ni gani na y2 ni gani. Midpoint tayari tunajua, midpoint yetu tulitafuta kutoka kitambo ambao ni ya 8 2. Sawa, tuaje hapa. So ni 0, -4. I hope. Yeah. So tuaje tusema midpoint yetu vile tunajua our mid which is D na midpoint yetu ni 8, 2. We know our what do we call it? Is it our y? Yeah, you know our y. Our y is 0, -4. We don't know our z basically, which is x, y. So very simple. So you do 0 plus x over 2, okay, is equivalent to 8 yetu tuliopata. So kitu ambacho lazima tufanye ni times 2. Times 2 ndio hiyo 2 itoke. So x yetu hapa tayari tushapata ni 16. 0 plus x ni hiyo 0. Ni x, sorry. Bado ni nyingine. Bado kupata y, sio? Na y pia the same thing. So y ni -4 plus y divided by 2, which is equivalent to y ile ya midpoint, which is 2. So the same thing times 2 times 2. So -4 plus y is equivalent to 4. So -4 plug at the other side, which becomes +4. As a result, y ni 8. So our coordinates here z ni 16,8. So simple. The last question ni the area of triangle XYZ. The area of triangle XYZ. So let's just draw your XY na Z yetu hapa. So tusije tukakorogana. So hapa ni Y, hapa ni Z. Okay. And hapa ni X, hapa ni D. Whatever we know that hapa zote points zote tushajua sasa. Okay. Y tutajua y ni 0,4. X yetu tutajua which is 5,6 na Z sahi tushapata ni 16,8 na D tumepata which is 8,2. So kutafuta area lazima tujue base yetu a half times base times height, na base yetu ni kutoka y mpaka Z. So basically we have to find the magnitude of YZ. So na magnitude ya YZ ni rahisi. Kumbuka magnitude wachukua x1 minus x2 you square, you add to y1 minus y2, you square it, and the resultant answer you square root it. So the same thing utafanya hapa pia. So kutafuta hiyo YZ utachukua let's say Z ile 8 naanza na y, hapa nianze na x. Utachukua 16 minus 0 square it plus 8 minus 4, which becomes eventually 8 plus 4 squared. So, and then square root it. So stuck by 16 squared plus 12 squared and square root. So 8 plus 4 is 12, so square. 16 squared plus 12 squared. And then square root here 400, which is 20 units. sawa. And then let's search for the height, which is our height ni xd pia utafanya the same thing. So we'll take 6 minus 2, let's say 5 minus 8 squared plus 6 minus 2 squared, and the answer is square root. So 5 minus 8 ni negative 3 squared plus 4 squared, and then square root it. So 9 plus 16, 9 plus 16 is 25, na square root of 25 ni 5, so it's 5 units basically. Okay, so that is our height. So if you want to find the area, simple, let me use here. So itakuwa half times base yetu. Base yetu si tayari tuko nao. Base yetu ni your YZ, which is 20, times height yetu, which is 5. So by 2, 1, by 2, 10. So 10 times 5 ni 50. Hata hiyo 10 naweza andika hapa, isije ukasema uone hiyo 10 sioni. So 10 times 5 ni 50 square units. Wewe andika tu units hapo hapa, andike units, usiandike square. Na kwa mtihani utaanza kutafutana. Haya. So those are your 10 marks. Let's go to the other question. Question 20. The following distribution shows the marks obtained by 82 students in a mathematics test. The marks is shown below: 20, 29, 29, 39, all those marks, you're seeing it in the table. Question A, state the model class. Okay. Question B, calculate 2 decimal places. Roman 1, the mean mark. And Roman 2, the difference between the median and the mean marks. And the last question being represent the above data in a histogram. So very easy questions. So let's start with this question. So the model class ni ile class ambao, don't forget to subscribe. Model class ni ile class ambayo iko na largest frequency, ni ambayo iko na frequency kubwa. Ukiona kwa hizi classes zote 20, 29, 30 to 39 mpaka 80 to 89, the only class ambayo iko na largest frequency ni hiyo 30 to 39 ambayo iko na frequency ya 18. So your model class ni 30 to 39. Mara zingine swali itakuuliza model frequency. So hutoandika 30 to 39 but utaandika 18 kwa sababu hiyo ndo the largest frequency. So kuwa makini when you are answering such questions. Question B, calculate to 2 decimal places, which is a 3-mark question, the mean mark. So therefore, it means that I need to draw a table, right? So let's draw a table. Let's draw a table, a big table. Okay. So your table, watch it to each other, and yeah, I think that's enough. So let's draw a table. So kutakuwa na x, kutakuwa na fx, kutakuwa na midpoint. Okay, kutakuwa na cumulative frequency. I think that's enough. Okay. So our marks. So for those marks, lazima tuchore midpoint hapa, midpoint, which is basically our x, and then we have frequency, which is our f, and then we have fx, and then we have cumulative frequency, which will also help us. So 20 to 29, we have 30 to 39, we have 40 to 49, we have 50 to 59, we have 60 to 69, we have 70 to 79, and the last one being 80 to 89. Now, so midpoint, 20 to 29, the easiest way of obtaining a midpoint ni uchukue hiyo 20 add kwa 29, then divide by 2. So then you take 20 plus 29 divide by 2, in which itakupa 24.5. So midpoint yako ni 24.5. Na since zote hizi classes iko na same intervals, so utajirepeat tu. So hapa itakuwa 34.5, ukifanya hata ukiconfirm mwenyewe 30 plus 39 divided by 2 itakuwa 34.5. Hii the same thing 44.5, 54.5 because all of them have same intervals, yani class width zake ziko sawa. So hapa ni 64.5, hapa ni 74.5 na the last one being 84.5. So frequency yako umeandikiwa 3, 18, 13, uko na 14, uko na 17, uko na 12 na lastly being 5. So tutafute fx kwa sababu kwenye swali la kwanza umeambia calculate the mean mark. So mean mark is given by sum of fx over sum of f. So lazima tutafute fx. So ukichukua 25.5 times 3, so we're taking this times 3. So 24.5 times 3 over 73.5, 34.5 times 18 itakupa 621. So 24.5 okay times 3, let me confirm, okay it's correct. So 44.5 times 13 ni 578.5, 54.5 times 14 itakupa 763. Okay, 64.5 times 17 itakupa 1096. 1096.5. 74.5 times 12 itakupa 894, and the last one being 84.5 times 5, which gives you 422.5. Now add all of this. After add f, now add what they call it fx pia. So hii ukiadd itakupa sum of f na hii ukiadd itakupa summation of fx. So let's start with f. So 3 plus 18 plus 13 plus 14 plus 17 plus 12 plus 5. So you're adding all of this together. Now, and the summation imenipa 82. So basically your sum of f is equal to 82. What about sum of fx? Right. So sum of fx itakuwa ni ngapi, right? So sum of fx, take all of this, add them together, just like you did with the frequency. So plus 578.5 plus 763 plus 1096.5 plus 894 plus 422.5. And basically whatever you have here is around 4448.5. In which I'm confirming, is it a true thing? No, not a true thing. I forgot something to add. So it's around 4449. So let me just leave another space here and draw another line. So basically, okay. So basically, the sum of fx is around 4449. So 4449. So let me just yeah. So sum of fx tumesema ni 4449 divided by the sum of f, which is 82. So you need to correct 2 decimal places afterwards. So divide by 82 na imenipa 54.26. So that is your answer. So let's go to the other question. The difference between the median and mean max. So the mean max, you already know it, so you just need to find the median. So you need to find, before finding median, you need to draw a table of cumulative frequency, which in short you call it as CF. So, and how do you find CF? So ukiona hapa frequency si ni 3, kwa CF utaanza kuandika 3. And then you add 18 kwa hiyo 3. You ask yourself how much it has accumulated after adding 18. So it's 21. Okay. Add to 13, it gives you 34. Okay. Add to 14, it should give you around 48. Add to 17, it should give you around 65. Add to 12, it should give you around 77. and add to 5 should give you around 82. So lazima zi match up na sum of frequency. Sawa pata. So after knowing that, basically you use the formula for you to calculate median. The formula is lower boundary plus sum of f over 2 minus cumulative frequency above it times your class interval over f. Okay, so first thing is first, you have to find out what is 82 divided by 2. So because that's where the median will lie. So 82 divided by 2, which is sum of f divided by 2. 82 divided by 2 gives you 41. Okay, 41. So you start here by writing 82 divided by 2, which is 41. So basically we finish with sum of f divided by 2 minus cumulative frequency above. But now after dividing by 2, you have to locate where 41 is under the cumulative frequency. So 41 is around here. Okay, so basically you just highlight the whole row so that it can help us in finding the median. So hii ni 41 iko kwa 48. The cumulative frequency above it ni 34. Therefore 41 minus 34 divide by frequency. Frequency yake ni hii, sije ukaanza kutafuta kwa cumulative frequency. So divide by 14. Okay, divide by 14 times your class interval. Na class interval utapata vipi? Kumbuka ni 50 to 59. So lazima utafute kitu inaitwa lower boundary na upper boundary. Upata lower boundary yamaanisha hiyo 50 utasubtract na 0.5. So ukisubtract na 0.5, let me just use another pen. Subtract na 0.5 itakuwa 49.5 na upper boundary yake ni hiyo 59 uta add na 0.5. So 1 add hii na 0.5 na hii nyingine uta minus na 0.5. So itakuwa ni 49.5 mpaka 59.5. And the class interval is when you take the upper boundary minus the lower boundary. So minus 49.5, which is just 10. So yeah, the simplest way uchukua to the last two numbers. So for example, like labda 59 minus 49 itakuwa 10. But don't take 59 minus 50. It will give you a wrong class interval. So just to be to shorten it, so your class interval is times 10 plus your lower boundary is tushasema ni 49.5. Okay, so 49.5 is your lower boundary. So let's just calculate this out. So it gives you 49.5 plus 41 minus 34. 41 minus 34, lazima utujue ni ngapi? Si 7. So it's 7 over 14 times 10. So 7 over 14 times 10 itakuwa ngapi? Itakuwa 5. So just utachukua 49.5 plus 5 is equal to 54.5. So that is your median. Hiyo ndo median yako. So kwa vile tumetafuta median, ni rahisi sasa kupata the difference between the median and the mean. So the difference between the median and the mean. So the median ndo kubwa, so median minus mean. So let's just take 54.5 minus 54.26. And the answer will give you how much? The answer will give you 0.24. So that is your answer. So let's go to the last question now. Okay, so which is a histogram. It is also a 3-mark question. Okay, so you've been asked to represent the above data in a histogram. Represent the above data in a histogram. Okay. Okay, you've been told represent the above and to draw a histogram. So hapa chini ndo classes zetu nimewachorea na mapema. okay, our classes, and this is our frequency, usually in the frequency also. So let me just confirm hizo classes tutaita nini ni max. Okay, so this is our max. So utaandika classes, but instead you write as max those just water. So write it as max. Muhimu hizi kuandika nini utarao. So vile nimeandika nimetoa kama ushaona nikianza na scratch. So this one means that it doesn't start from 0, but this one starts here 0. The y-axis 0 yake anza hivyo. But if you want, you can kuna njia nyingine, but it's for another time. So from 19.5 to 29.5. 19.5 to 29.5 ukiona hapa ni frequency yake ni 3. Okay, so 19.5 to 29.5, the frequency is 3. So let's do this here. So iko hapa. Okay, and let's just join it. Oh no, let's join it. So you join our PMA. Okay, let's join it, which is sorry for that. I am using article language when I'm supposed to use that in our. Okay, so then let's move it again. So it should be drawing also here. So it is here. Okay, I think that's I don't need. I don't know why I'm using a ruler for its purpose when I have a ruler. So basically it's this. Okay, let me use another. Okay, so so you can also shade it if you want. If you don't want, don't shade it too much. So let me just shade it to show it. There's not a must for you to shade it. If you don't want, don't shade it. Okay. The other one is 29.5 to 39.5, in which the frequency is around 18. So just show where 18 is. So the frequency is around 18. So yeah, that's 39. The frequency is around 18. So 18 is around here. Okay, 29.5 to 39.5, which is here. So, and don't forget to adjust using the lower and the upper boundaries. Sorry. And also here. Let's try this. Okay, so basically, there's another one. There's another bar. So let's continue 39.5 to 49.5, which is 13. So his search was to where 13 is located at. So our 13 is located here. This and this. So very easy. So let's join this. So this. And also if you want, you can shade it. 49.5 to 59.5. It's 14. Okay. So it's 14. So side 4. So it's how much? It's 14. 14, and I think I found it 14. So 14 is around here. Let me use another. That 14 is around here. Okay. and then use this one. So from here to here, and then up that. People think it's very hard, but it's not hard. So very easy drawing. And then we have 59.5 to 69.5, which is 17. Okay, so 17, this side's for 17, and I think I found out 17. Where is it? Where it is? So it's around here. So let's draw. Let's draw till here. Join it. So it's around here, and then you can shade it out if you want to. Okay. And then 69.5 to 79.5, which is 12. Now, so let's search for 12. Where 12? Where is our 12? Our 12 is here. So here and here. So let's construct it again. It's a very easy question with easy answers. So do you see? And the last one being 79.5 to 89.5, which is 5. So we're searching for 5. So 5 is around here. 5, 5, 5. 5 is here. This is 4. Or 5 should be here. Okay. And then now can join it. So, and you finish up with shading it if you want to. So that's all. So do you see, it's not that hard. So, and this is now your histogram. Your histogram, at the bottom, which is the y-axis, don't forget to indicate this is the y, this is the x. Okay, this is the x-axis. And the one which is horizontal, the one which is vertical, is what we refer to as y-axis. So I think with that, you've understood the topic so far, or the question is so far. So this is a histogram. So with that all, I'd like to thank you for joining. But I thank you for what? I'm not finished even with the questions. So let's continue with the questions. But okay, let's still continue the questions. Okay, tunaendelea na question 21 na ni linear motion. So don't forget that this is a mock paper. So the question says Nairobi and Eldoret are each 250 kilometers from Nakuru. At 8:15 a.m., a lorry leaves Nakuru for Nairobi. Okay. At 9:30 a.m., a car leaves Eldoret for Nairobi. Okay. Leaves Eldoret for Nairobi along the same route at 100 kilometers per hour. Both vehicles arrive at the same time. Question A, calculate their time of arrival in Nairobi. Question B, find the car's speed relative to that of the lorry, which is the relative speed. And question C, how far apart are the vehicles at 12:45 p.m. Okay, sorry for that. So now if you see this question quite carefully, then this question is very easy to solve. Ni swali rahisi sana. Umeambiwa Nairobi and Eldoret are 250 kilometers, are each 250 kilometers from Nakuru. So maanisha Nakuru ndo town ambayo iko katikati hapa. And let's say Eldoret ni hapa, Nairobi ni kule. So let's assume this is Eldoret. Okay. And here is Nairobi. Whichever way, as long as we get the answer. At 8:15 a.m., a lorry leaves Nakuru for Nairobi. So at 8:15 a.m., a lorry leaves Nakuru for Nairobi. So there's a lorry here. Okay. At 9:30 a.m., a car leaves Eldoret. Don't forget to write those 2 kilometers apart. So Eldoret is 250 kilometers away from Nakuru, and Nairobi is also 250 kilometers away from Nakuru. So Eldoret, there's a car that's leaving at 9:30 a.m. So which is this? Okay, so this is the car. Along the same route at 100 kilometers per hour. So very easy question and very easy way of solving. So kaulizwa hapa, calculate the time of arrival in Nairobi. So which is very easy. So ukiona hapa, the distance from Eldoret to Nairobi is how much? So usually you take the distance of the car, which is distance from Eldoret to Nairobi, ambao ni 250 plus 250, which is 500 kilometers. Okay, so that's your distance. So let me just write it, the distance here. So the distance ni 500 kilometers. Your speed ni ya gari, because you don't know the speed of the lorry at Nakuru. So the speed is 100 kilometers per hour. Okay. So since there's 100 kilometers per hour, so now whatever you need to find out is only time, or the duration that the car took from Eldoret to reach Nairobi. Okay. So let's find out that time. And time is given by a distance over speed from there. The diagram that I'll draw right now, which is distance, speed, and time. Okay. So if our distance is 500, and if our speed is 100, so distance over speed, it just becomes 5 hours. So there's a 5-hour journey over there. So since the car left there at 9:30 a.m. and it took 5 hours, so if you add 5 hours to it, then what time does it reach there? So 9:30 plus 5 is just 14:30. So basically, so it reaches there 14:30 hours. Okay, so you either write 14:30 hours, or you write it as 2:30 p.m. So basically, you know that the car will reach at Nairobi 2:30 p.m. Okay, so that's also, so both vehicles arrive at the same time. So basically, it means that the lorry also reaches there at 2:30 p.m. Sorry for that. So very simple question, very simple answer. So question B says, find the car speed relative to that of the lorry. Find the car speed relative to that of the lorry. So first of all, you need to find the time it took. Okay, the time it took, and I hope we're together on that. Let me confirm something. Leaves, yeah. So first of all, we need to find the lorry speed. Okay, but before finding the lorry speed, we have to find the distance for the lorry, and the distance for the lorry, since it came from Nakuru to Nairobi. Okay, so the distance is just for 250 kilometers. Okay, you don't know the speed, but the time it took, the time or duration, different is. So the duration it took, remember, the lorry came out from Nakuru at 8:15. So from 8:15 to 2:30. So 14:30 hours minus 8:15. Okay, 8:15 hours. So basically it gives us how much? So if you look at it, 14:30 minus 8:15 minus 8:15, it should give us 6:15. Okay, so it should give us 6 hours and 15 minutes. So that's the duration. So what's the speed of the lorry? Right, and speed is given by distance over speed. Distance of time. So our distance being 250, so our distance is 250 divided by our duration, which is our time, and our time is 6 hours 15 minutes. So time yetu ni 6 hours and 15 minutes. 15 minutes ni kama kusema robo saa, so itakuwa around 6.25. so ukichukua 250 ukidivide na 6.25 yafaa itupe 40 kilometers per hour. So but hii ni speed ya lori. So don't confuse those two. Kuna speed ya lori, kuna relative speed. So our relative speed, since both of those vehicles travel the same direction, so our relative speed, you just take the speed of the car minus the speed of the lorry. Speed of the car minus speed of the lorry. So the speed of the car is 100 kilometers per hour. The speed of the lorry is 40 kilometers per hour. So subtract those two, then you get 60 kilometers per hour as your relative speed. Okay, so that's the car speed relative to that of the lorry. So tayari ushapata 4 marks hapo za bora. Question C, it says how far apart are the vehicles at 12:45 p.m. So let's go most wacha tutafute ya car na tutafute ya lorry baadaye. So the car, the distance, we don't know distance. We know the speed of the car. The speed of the car is 100 kilometers per hour. Okay, and the duration or the time, we also can find it out because you know that the car left there at around 9:30. So ukiona hata hapa, you can confirm it. So it left at 9:30 a.m. So it left at 9:30 a.m. and it reached there at 12:45 p.m. So 12:45 p.m. okay, or 12:45 hours minus 30 a.m. not 9:30 p.m. 9:30 a.m. or 9:30 hours, and it should give you around if I'm not wrong, it should give us around 3 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, 3 hours and 15 minutes. You can confirm with your calculator. So it gives you 3 hours 15 minutes. So this is the duration, which is 3 hours 15 minutes. So now let's find out the distance, and the distance is given by what? Distance is given by speed times time. So speed times time. So speed ya hiyo gari multiply by hiyo time yake. So 100 is your speed, multiply by the time. Hii ni 3 hours 15 minutes, ama 15 minutes ni robo saa. So we'll just write times 3 a quarter, or let's write 3.25. So it's the same. So gives us 325 kilometers. Okay, now 325 kilometers, wewe ukiona kwenye hii diagram, hii hapa diagram, sio 325, wewe umeanza hiyo gari imeanza hapa Eldoret ikapita 250 and then it exceeded a little bit. So we have to find this distance ambao nimechora hapa kwa sababu imeenda 325. So to find this distance, what do? You take 325 minus 250. Okay, so you take 325, so distance that is in excess, or distance after that's Nakuru. After Nakuru yani is 325 minus 250 kilometers. 325 minus 250 ukiona hapa yafaa ikupe 75 kilometers. So this is the distance ambao ni baada after Nakuru, after it has passed Nakuru. Nakuru ndo hiyo ambao ni town ambayo iko katikati. So let's find we finish with the car. Now let's go to the lorry. And the lorry also, you have to do the same thing. The speed of the lorry, now you know it, so you calculated it to metafuta, which is 40 kilometers per hour. Duration ya lorry ni vile vile utakavyofanya kwa hiyo gari. So imefika pale 12:45 hours, sio? So you subtract with 8:15 kwa sababu imetoka pale 8:15. So 8:15 hours or 8:15 am. So ukisubtract hizo mbili, so 12:45 minus 8:15, which gives us 4 hours 30 minutes. 4 hours 30 minutes, Ukitaka waweza andika 4.5 ama 4.5. So let's find the distance. And the distance here is given by speed times time. The same actual thing. So speed here 40, time here 24.5 hours. Okay, it's speed here 40. Yeah, it's 40. So 40 times 4.5. So it's about 180 kilometers. So 180 kilometers. So remember, the lorry imeenda 180 kilometers. So just remember also, ile ilikupa hapa, hii excess ni 75. Nakumbuka hiyo lorry imeenda around 180. Okay, so they want to find out this distance. So the distance from here to here. Na hiyo utapata vipi? Mpaka uchukue 180 minus 75. So utachukua 180 kilometers. So distance apart, utachukua 180 minus 75 kilometers. So which is basically ngapi? Around 105 kilometers. So it's around 105 kilometers apart. And I think that's all for today's lesson. So but we'll still continue. So 105 kilometers is all for the question on linear motion. Unless I did a blunder somewhere, in which I don't think so. So because it's the same thing, 1245. Yes. So I'm just confirming so that I don't do blunders anymore. So 1245 minus 815. Yeah, and gives us the same exact thing. So 4 hours 30 minutes, and our speed, our distance is equivalent to speed times time, which is 40 times 4.5, 180, and 180 minus 75 is 105 kilometers. And let's go to the other question. Okay, tunaendelea na swali la 22 kuhusu mixtures na Mock addition. Subscribe. So okay, the question says John bought 3 brands of tea A, B, and C. The cost price of the 3 brands were 25 shillings, 30 shillings, and 45 shillings per kilogram respectively. Okay, he mixed the 3 brands in the ratio 5:2:1 respectively. So after selling the mixture, he made a profit of 20%. Question A, how much profit did he make per kilogram of the mixture? Okay. So, swali rahisi sana. So there are many ways of solving this, but I would just show you one way. Nitakuonesha njia moja tu badala. So umeambiwa the cost price of 3 brands ni hiyo 25, 30 na 45, in which ratio zake umepewa. So usually ukipata swali kama hili, kupata yani price per kg, utachukua tu price ya ile commodity ya kwanza, let's say X, times ratio yake plus price ya commodity ya pili times ratio yake plus price ya commodity ya tatu labda times ratio yake, then divide by the total ratio. Sawa? In which kwa hii swali pia tutafanya hivyo hivyo. Tumeelewa? So price ya hiyo commodity unasema ni 25, ratio ya hiyo kitu ni 5. Sawa? Ni 25 plus price ya pili which is 30 times ratio yake ambayo ni 2 plus hiyo 45 times ratio yake ambayo ni 1. Sawa? Nadhani tumeona, divide by the total ratio. Remember this is 2, sijeka kuchanganya. So the total ratio ni 5 plus 2 plus 1. Sawa? In which hapa itakupa ngapi juu na chini itatupa ngapi? So hapa chini tutajua tayari itatupa 5 plus 2 plus 1 which is 8. Hapa juu hatujui. So 25 times 5, okay, plus 30 times 2 plus 45 times 1. Yote ukimalizia ni 230. Sawa? Na 230 ukidivide na 8 itakupa around 28.75. Sawa? So 28.75 shillings. Hiyo sasa ndo cost price yake. per kg, cost per kg. Lakini sasa huyu jamaa aliuza, he sold it. Once he sold it, he made a profit of 20%. So very easy, such type of question. I don't think you can miss out 4 marks. So since he sold it and made a profit of 20, and you always know that this 28.75 shillings is 100%. So to always remember that hiyo ni cost is always at 100%. So market price ni kila siku 100%. So wajiuliza, what about 120%? Sawa, to tujue yani aliuza kwa ngapi per kg. So utafanya 28.75 times 120 divide by 100. So at 120% aliuza kwa shilingi ngapi? So utachukua 28.75 times 120 divide by 100 ambapo tutapata 34.5. So aliuza kwa 34.5 shillings. Na profit utapata vipi? Utachukua ile selling price minus cost price. So selling price yetu si ni 34.5 minus ile cost price yetu which is 28.75 shillings. Na answer yetu itakuwa ngapi? Minus 28.75 itatupa 5.75, and that is your answer per kg. So hiyo ndo answer ya 5.75 shillings per kg. Yani kwa kila kilo moja atakapouza atapata faida ya shilingi 5 na tuhitaji hakuna sumni siku hizi sumni 75. So I think that's all. So let's go to the other question. Question B says, after 1 year, the cost price of each brand was increased by 10%. So remember the prices for each brand. Kumbuka ratio zilikuwa ni 5:2:1, right? And the cost prices for each brand, if you look at the top of the question, ni ngapi? Ni 25, 30 na 45. So iandike tu 25, tuko na 30 na kuna 45. So this is the cost price of each brand. So kuna brands tatu. So umeuliza after 1 year the cost price of each brand was increased by 10%. For how much did he sell 1 kilogram of the mixture to make a profit of 15%? So first let's find the selling price for each brand. So let's find the selling price for each brand. So let's say hapa ni 25. So for the first brand hii ni first, tutafanya second hapa, tutafanya third. So for the first brand ilikuwa ni 25. So since wataka ili increasewa na 10%, so therefore watafuta ya 110%. And the second price was 30, waongeza na 110%. And the same thing hapo for the third one was 45, waongeza 110% by multiplying it by 110 over 100. So kila brand itatupa new price. So 25 times 110 over 100. So it's just around 1.1, and it should give us 27.5. So amepata kwa 27.5 shillings. Cost price yake 30 times 1.1, which basically is 33 shillings. Okay, and 45 times 1.1 gives us 49.5 Kenya shillings. So those are the cost prices for the 3 brands. So kaulizwa, how much did he sell 1 kilogram of the mixture to make a profit of 15%? So but let's find out the cost price per kg, the new cost price. So you do the same, ratio haijabadilika, ni the same ratio. So you take the cost prices, multiply by its ratios. So ya kwanza 27.5 times 5, ya pili ni 33 in which ratio yake ilikuwa ni 2, na ya mwisho ilikuwa ni 49.5, ratio yake ni 1, divide by the total ratio which is 8. So ni 5 plus 2 plus 1 which is just 8. So 27.5 times 5 plus the 3 times 2 plus 49.5 times 1, na itatupa 253. So 253, remember ni per kg, so sija ukakoroga. So ni 253 cost price yote, lakini per kg itakuwa ni divide by 8. Ukidivide by 8 hiyo jibu itakupa 31.625 Kenya shillings. So that's the cost price. But now have we solved it entirely? No, we haven't solved it entirely. So tutafuta profit sasa. Umeambiwa profit ya 15%. So how do you get the profit? See, so how do you, for how much did he sell? How do you get the selling price? So since 31.625 is the cost price and it's sold at 100% and the profit is 15%, so the new selling price should be 115%. Sawa, wewe ulipata kwa 100%. Ukitafuta 15% profit, yamaanisha utachukua ile 100 utaongeza 15 na itakupa 115. Sawa, so basically you're doing the same. So you're taking 31.625, utachukua hiyo 31.625 utamultiply kwa 115 divide by 100 na answer yako itakuwa ngapi? Angalia vizuri. So chukua calculator yako, multiply 115 to 31.625, okay, and then divide by 100 na itakupa 36.37 shillings. Sawa, but umeambiwa to the nearest 5 cents. So okay, sasa so hapa ona 36.37 Kenya shillings. So wajiuliza nita round off, nita round up, sio? So usually angalia your last digit ambao ni 7. Ikiwa last digit yako ni 67, then you round it down to 5. Sawa, kwa vile last digit yako ni 7, so utaandika 36.35 shillings. Sawa, but ikiwa ni kama 8 ama 9, then utaipandisha, you round it up to 40. And that's how you round something to the nearest 5 cents. So let's say for example ningekuwa at 6.32. So you round it off to 0. So remember these things. So for example you have, let me just draw it, which if it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See? So ikiwa ni around 1, 2, you round it down to 0. But if it's around 3, 4, you round it up to 5. So if it's around 6, 7, you round it down to 5. And if it's around 8 and 9, you round it up to like 0. So which is, let's say kama ni 3, 8, ukiandika 40. So I think hapa tumeelewana. So swali la pili umeulizwa what would have been his percentage profit if he sold 1 kilogram of the mixture at 45 shillings, right? So your cost price per kg ni ile tu, per kg ni hiyo 31.625. But now your selling price per kg is how much? Is equivalent to 45. So let's find out the profits, and the profits given by your selling price minus your cost price. So quite easy question here. So let's find out the profit. So for profit need 45 minus 31.625. So if you just subtract those two, how much do you get? So if you take 45 minus 31.625, 31.625, your profit should be 13.375 per kg. So for every kg you earn a profit of 13.375 shillings. So if you want to find the percentage profit, very easy. Unataka kutafuta percentage profit, utachukua ile profit divide by ile cost price ama ni cash price ama ni whatever price, bora tu ni the original price times 100. So ukiona hapa ni 13.375 divide by ile cost price yako ambayo ni hiyo 31.625 multiply by 100. So in which itakupa ngapi? 13.375 by 31.625 times 100 ambayo ni 42.29%. Now ukitaka waweza andika 42.3%, is up to you. Waweza andika hata 42.3%. Okay, and that is 10 marks that you need to get. So umeona swali rahisi. Hii kusumbua nini tena? Okay, let's continue with the question. Question 24. Ambayo ni trigonometry. Don't forget to subscribe. Tuendelea, lakini usisahau kusubscribe. If two owns a farm that is triangular is in shape as shown below. So that's your triangle. AC ni 250, BC ni 440, na AB ni 320 meters. So umeambiwa calculate the size of angle BAC. BAC ni hii hapa. So let's go question by question. So let's find out that angle. So basically hii ni A, hii ni ndo capital A, this is B, and this is C. So since we have three sides, you use cosine rule. Tutumia cosine rule kwa hiyo swali. So let's use cosine rule. So cosine rule is given by which formula? A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. So ukiangalia A squared yetu hapa ni rahisi kujua, ni 440 squared nishaweka, equal to B squared ambao ni 250 squared plus C squared ambao ni 320 squared minus 2BC which is minus 2 times 250 times C yetu which is 320 times cos A. Hatujui hiyo cos A. Hatujui hiyo angle yani. So 440 squared, chukua calculator yako, 440 squared ni ngapi? Ni 193,600. 250 squared plus 320 squared. So 250 squared plus 320 squared, which is basically 164,900. So minus 2 times 250 times 320. So minus 2 times 250 times 320, which is minus 160,000 cos A. Kumbuka sijachukua 164,900 ka subtract kwa negative 160,000. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu hiyo negative 160,000 iko pamoja na cos A. So don't subtract those two numbers. Be very careful. Na wanafunzi wengi huwa wafanya hiyo. Ni kazi ni sawa kama kusema 3 minus 2A. Huwezi chukua 3 minus 2. Sawa? So don't do that. So hizi mbili ni tofauti. 164,900 ni tofauti na negative 160,000 cos A. So don't subtract. So what you need to know, what you need to do ni kutoa hii 164,900 by subtracting here. So by you subtract on both sides. So itakuwa minus 164,000 minus 164,900. And after that, what do you get? Look at it carefully. 193,600. 93,600 minus 164,900. So it gives us 28,700 on the left side of the equation. Na hapo on your right side ni negative 160,000 cos A. So you also don't do this mistake ukachukua negative 160,000 ukapeleka pale uka-add. No. For you to get cos A first, you divide by negative 160, because negative 160,000 is the coefficient for cos A. So for you to remove it, you divide it on both sides. So divide. So itakuwa negative 160,000. So tumeelewana? Hii ni coefficient ya cos A. So kama unataka kuitoa, we divide negative 160,000 on the right and on the left side. So chukua hiyo 28,700 divide by negative 160,000. Okay, and which gives us around negative 0.17938, something like that. Or let me just write to for significant figure. So 94 equal to cos A. So your cos A is equal to negative answer. And you already know about the unit circle, which is this. Okay, so we have four quadrants: the A, the S, the T, and the C. And you ask yourself, when is cos negative? It's usually negative on the second, and on the third quadrant. And on the second quadrant, your angle is usually 180 minus theta. On the third quadrant, ni 180 plus theta. So hii answer yako haiwezi kuwa kwenye third quadrant, kwa sababu ukiona hapa hii angle haiwezi kuwa more than 180. It doesn't make sense. So the only thing that you remain with is the second quadrant. So basically we'll take the second quadrant, but first let's find out the theta itself. So A2, or the angle, you do cos inverse of negative 0.1794. But sikizeni hapa, ukifanya cos inverse ignore the negative part, sawa? Ama ukifanya, najua answer watu wengi itakupa negative, just ignore that part. So utachukua cos inverse, okay, cos inverse yake, hata ukitafuta pia cos inverse ya negative 0.1794, kuna answer, kuna calculator zingine itakupa 100 kamili, okay. Kuna ingine itakupa, but you can, let's try it, because cos inverse ya negative ni hapo kuna calculator yangu imenipa correct answer. So our A hapa imenipa ngapi? Imenipa 100.33 degrees, sawa. But in case if you are using another calculator na calculator yako inkupa around negative hapa, nadhani kuna wengine itakupa, so ukitafanya cos inverse, I don't think itakupa negative, so I think it should give you hiyo 100.33 ni optimum. So hii tayari itatupa answer, so haina haja. So ukifanya cos inverse ya negative 0.1794 ni 100.33, which is correct kwa sababu iko kwenye second quadrant, which is 180 minus theta. So it's less than 180 but greater than 90 degrees. So ya angle tayari ushajua ni hii. Tuendelee. Question B umeulizwa find the area of the farm in hectares. Okay, find the area of the farm in hectares. And how do you find the area? Area of a triangle, and if you've been given the angle and the sides, you take a half AB sin theta. Ikiwa umepewa sides mbili na hiyo angle yako, utachukua half AB sin theta. So AB yako ni gani? Right, so njoo hapo juu. So ukiangalia angle ambao umepata ni hii hapa, in which hii ndo angle 100.33 degrees. AB yako ni gani? Ni hii 250 na hii 320. Ignore the 450 kwa sababu haiko hata karibu na hii angle. The two sides which come together to form that angle are the ones that you use in calculating the area. Zile sides mbili zikikutana kutengeneza hiyo angle, ndo hizo sides mbili ndo utatumia kutafuta area. So these two sides is 250 and 320. So your AB is 250 times 320 times sin theta, and your sin theta ni pale ni 100.33. So a half times 250, just take a calculator with you. A half times 250 times 320 times sin 100.33. So basically it gives us around 39,351.65 square meters. So hii swali nzima ni square meters. But now kwenye swali hujaulizwa utafute in meters square, umeulizwa utafute in hectares. And you already know that for 1 hectare is just equivalent to 10,000 square meters. So what about 39,351.65? So basically what you need to do hapa ni uchukue hiyo 39,351.65, you divide by 10,000. Okay, and the final answer that you get, if you divide by 10,000, you get around 3.935. So andika 3.935 hectares. Ni swali ngumu, si swali ngumu. Tuendelee question C. Question C umeulizwa Kiptoo wishes to irrigate his farm using a sprinkler. Sprinkler ni ile ambayo yatoa maji. Sprinkler machine situated in the farm such that it is equidistant from points A, B and C. So calculate the distance of the sprinkler from point C. So in short, whatever this question is asking is for you to find the radius. It's for you to find the radius. Okay, because if you look at this triangle, right? Ukiangalia hiyo triangle yenyewe, wewe ukiangalia tu, uiangalie vizuri, ikitoa hii yote hapa. Sawa? So pale ambapo let's say hii kutoka A mpaka hapa, kutoka C mpaka hapa, kutoka P mpaka hapa. So this acts like your center. So these sides are usually the ones that help you to create a circle. So, and that circle that you create, your radiuses, is from that center to either of those points. So hii in short waambiwa utafute radius. So ndio ikupe ile circle. So because if something is equidistant, usually it helps you in creating the circle. So ukiangalia vizuri hapa, hii ndio radius yetu. So for you to get your radius, you use the formula, your sine formula, which is A over sine A equal to B over sine B equal to 2R, ukitaka C over sine C, whichever. Sasa A over sine A yetu, ukiangalia hapa, tumpewa two side na angle. So ile angle ambayo iko na side ni hii 100.33 degrees. Si hapa tulitafuta 100 hapo tulitafuta tukapata 100.33. So hii ni 100.33 na hiyo ndo side yake, which is 440 meters. So tutatumia 440 divide by sine 100.33 degrees equal to 2R. So 440 divided by sine 100.33. 440 divided by sine 100.33, which gives us around 447.25 meters equal to 2R. So R itakuwa divide by 2. So divide this by 2 ndio upate radius yako. So divide by 2 itakuwa 223.6 meters to four significant figure. So that's your answer. So that is your final answer. So una swali rahisi bana, jibu pia ni rahisi. So Roman 2, the question says, as the sprinkler rotates in a circular motion so that the maximum point reached by the water jet is the vertices A, B, and C. Right. So calculate the area outside this farm. So basically, if this is our triangle, right, and you've been told now that the sprinkler rotates in a circular motion. So I'm not a good drawer. So it rotates like this. Okay. So you've been told that the farm is the triangle, and you've been asked to calculate the area outside this farm, which is this one. Okay. So basically, you need to find the area of the circle first. Area of the circle. Then find the area of the triangle, which you already found it out. So area of the circle is given by pi r squared, which is 22/7 times your radius. You had found it out in Roman 1, ambao ni 223.6 times 223.6. Sawa, ama ukitaka utaandika 223.6 squared. It's the same thing. So 22/7 times 223.6 squared itatupa around 157,133.3, so 30 meters square. Area of the triangle tulipata ile ambayo iko in terms of, I think, which one, in terms of meters square tulipata hapo, tukasema ni 39,351.65. So 39,351.65 square meters. Sasa kupata hiyo jibu pia ni rahisi. Okay, so to get that question, so for you to get this shaded part, what do? You take the area of the circle minus the area of the triangle. Okay, so let's take area of the circle. It's 157,133.30 minus the triangle area ambao ni hii. So ukisubtract hizi mbili, angalia answer itatoka ngapi. So minus 39,351.65, which answer yako itakupa 117,781.6 1.65 square meters. Ima answer yako uache hii ama ubadilishe kwa hectares ukitaka. So ukitaka ukibadilisha kwa hectares, it basically means you take that 117,781.65 divide by 10,000 because still area. So if you divide by 10,000, you get 11.78 hectares. So that basically that's your answer. So don't forget to subscribe. That's the end of the video, and share it to your friends. And if umefaidika kwa this session, also don't forget to send remarks. If you have any if you have any comments, you can drop it on the comment box. If there's kama kuna makosa yaweza kunielezea kuna comment section. So, but don't forget to share it to your friends. And for those that maybe wameona labda hii 1 hour nyingi sana siwezi soma kila kitu, there's a playlist there which is up there. You'll find it and you just click on that playlist. It gives you section 2 questions, question by question. Kama unataka swali la hii vectors itakupa hapo, so that you don't get bored afterwards. So وهذا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.